guys, it's Janelle. This is what I read in October. So this is my October TBR. Today is October 9th and I have finished reading Powerful, and this is my friend's copy. Look how beautiful this book cover is. Something I love about this book is the dedication. It's to the girls with softer dreams, your purpose is just as powerful. Now, I absolutely loved this book. I actually love it more than Powerless, and I rated it 4.7 stars. Adina is definitely my favorite character. I have to say that this ending is so sad though. I also love Mac. Mac and Adina are like the two perspectives in this book. So Adina is Peyton's friend. She's also a sewer, and she is a phaser, which means she can like go through walls. And now there's gonna be some spoilers, so be warned. Mac, who's the love interest, he is surprisingly a wielder, which he hides this from Adina at first. But that is so crazy because I thought Kai was the only wielder in the kingdom, but turns out Mac is also a wielder. And that just means he can use powers from the elites surrounding him, like within a certain distance. But if there's no elites around him, then he can't use any powers. But he has to hide his ability because there is only allowed one wielder per kingdom. So if the king found out that he was a wielder, he'd probably get killed or banished. I'm literally so sad about Adina's death. Like, she's the sweetest, most amazing character ever, and she did not deserve any of that. She also got thrown into the dungeons just before her death, and then she got like stabbed by Blair. And the saddest part was that Mac actually went to watch the trials because he thought that Adina was going to be there watching it as well, so he was going to surprise her. But turns out he ended up watching her die. Like, are you kidding me? I've also started reading Reckless. Now this is actually my own copy because this book is actually signed by the author, and so I found this in the bookshop and I had to get it. I have this, what's it called, dust jacket, I think, but I took it off because I like this cover more. But I also have that, and it says signed by the author. That is so exciting. So I'm currently up to page 270. A lot of things have happened in this book, but I need to keep reading to see what happens next. These are the other two books that I'm currently reading. So Frankenstein by Mary Shelley was a book that has been on my TBR for a very long time. Actually, ever since I finished reading Dracula last October, I was like, I really wanted to read Frankenstein, but I saved it all the way until this October, which I'm so glad because I'm really enjoying this right now. I'm up to page 35, and I feel like the words in this book are really small, but I also love how light this book is and how small it is because it's just so easy to carry around in my bag, even though I mostly read this book at night in my bed. But if I do want to carry it in my bag, it would be convenient. We know that the main character in this book is called Victor Frankenstein, and he is really interested in science and discovery. He also wants to create like a human being, so that's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. I've also started reading Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book in the King of Scars duology, and I am up to page 135. And I feel like with this book, I enjoyed Nina's perspective the most, but there's also Nikolai and Zoya. Isaac's perspective is obviously not in this book anymore. Also, what's like so weird is that the Darkling has like kind of come back to life through Yuri's body. I thought we were rid of him for good after Shadow and Bone, but no, apparently he's back in this book, which is like kind of infuriating. Actually, it's very infuriating because I hate the Darkling, and now he's made his way back into this book. Now he's ordering Nikolai and Zoya to bring Alina Starkov to him, But Alina Starkov was supposed to be living her life in peace after she killed the Darkling. But no, now he's back to hunt her down again. And the last book I have here is a book that unexpectedly joined my TBR this month, and that is Wednesday, a novelization of season 1. Now, I did not even know this book existed until I saw it in store, and as soon as I saw it, I just had to get it because I am so obsessed with Wednesday. It's probably one of my favorite shows of all time, and I absolutely loved season 2. And it's been a while since I watched season 1. I think the first time I watched it was when it came out, and then the second time I watched it was in 2023. I vaguely remember what happened, but I also would love to read what happened from Wednesday's perspective. That is going to be so exciting. I think I'm going to save it for the week of Halloween though, so towards the end of the month. Yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm also dressing up as Wednesday for Halloween, and my friend is dressing up as Enid. Cannot wait to read this book. But yeah, that is all for today, so I'll see you guys soon. Hey guys, it is the 12th of October, and I finished reading Reckless today, but before we get into that, let me show you guys the book that my friend Maya gave me. So I borrowed her other copy of Powerless, but then we decided to do a book swap where she keeps my spare Percy Jackson book and I keep one of her Powerful books. And so look at the sprayed edges of this copy. It is so pretty. Also, I never realized that this book had a needle and thread on the cover. That is so Adina. And now that I have my own copy, I can annotate it. So I'm really excited to do that because I love this book and there's just so many lines that I want to underline and tab. So I just made this dress today. It's like this gradient ombre pretty dress, and it has like sunset colors. So it reminded me of Barbie: A Very Secret, which is also my favorite Barbie movie. So on to Reckless. I finished this book today and I think I would give it 4.4 stars. I definitely enjoyed the second half of the book a lot more than the first half. I feel like there were a lot of like secrets that we uncovered, especially when Peyton read her father's journal. So I was like kind of shocked to find out that she wasn't actually his child. Peyton was actually not blood related to her father, which kind of made sense because that explained why she wasn't a mixed and she was an ordinary, like instead of having some powers, because her father was supposed to be an elite and her mother was supposed to be an ordinary. So now I have no idea who Peyton's actual parents are. Now we know for sure, and Kai knows for sure, that the ordinaries did not have a disease because Kai's father paid healers to pretend that they actually were deceased. Peyton's father was the only one who did not want to lie for the sake of money. Also, the ending was so shocking. Like, I need to pick up Fearless next month at least, because they were finally brought in to the new king, Kit. And Kit was like, okay, so you killed my father and you're an ordinary. And everyone in the room was just waiting for him to sentence her to death or something. But then instead he says, you are to be my bride. What? I did not see that coming at all. Like, any kind of brutal punishment or just banishment from the kingdom would have been more expected. Like, I thought he was gonna like throw her to the dungeons or something. But no, you were to be my bride. What? And this is just after Kai confessed his love to Peyton. So he's definitely having a tough time, but also everyone is shocked. I don't think anyone saw this coming. I'm still mourning Adina because I just love my girl Adina. I'm so excited to annotate this though. Like, this book is actually so pretty. And this is what it looks like without the dust jacket. There's the needle again. Oh my goodness. So pretty. There's even needle on the side. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I finished those two books. So, I have finished reading Rule of Wolves at last. It is the 29th of October, so Halloween is only 2 days away. I am so excited. This book was incredible. I actually need the next part of the series immediately. I don't think there is one yet, but I need the next book to be written immediately, because what do you mean? Okay, so here is when the spoilers start, so be warned. I'm sorry if I pronounced her name wrong, but I am so glad that Han did not die, because for a moment, for a split second, I was like, wait, did she die? Because we literally see her body and she's dead. But then I was like, wait a second, Han is a tailor, like surely she tailored someone else so that it looked like she died, but she actually didn't. And I was right. I figured it out earlier than Nina did, obviously, because Nina was probably like struck by grief, because like, what do you mean, like she saw Han's body like dead on the floor. But then she was also suspicious that it could be a possibility, but she didn't really want to think about the possibility just in case if that actually was Han. And I was like, so who else could it be? But it turns out it's Prince Rasmus, which I'm so glad, because I figured that out when Prince Rasmus all of a sudden started acting like nicer. I was like, this is not him. There's no way this is Prince Rasmus. This is Han. So yay, Nina and Han live happily ever after some complications. Complications as in there's a huge war between Fyodor and Ravka. And so basically Zoya turns into a dragon and everyone like bows to her and she's like, oh my gosh, Zoya the Saint. Actually, I have a lot of tabs, so I can just look through the book right now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. So like, first of all, Nikolai gives up his crown for Zoya to be the queen. And now Zoya is the new queen, but Zoya and Nikolai are together now. So technically Nikolai's still a prince. Oh, and the reason he gave up his crown was because he like exposed to everyone that he's actually not a Lantsov by blood. And he also meets his father, who Nina brought out of prison. Zoya and Nina like jumped out of the prison, and then that's when Zoya became the dragon, and now she's like flying over the war, and everyone's like, what the heck? Everyone thought that dragons were a myth. So yeah, that was a very inconsistent yap about this book. I did not say anything in order, so that was just random thoughts from the top of my head. But overall, I absolutely love this book, and I actually need the next book right now. Wait, I've already said that. Okay, so at the end, like, we see Inej again, because she's brought to the little palace. But also, now they need something. Oh, the heart of Sankt Felix. But obviously, how are they gonna find it? Because there's probably so many fakes around, and they have no idea who has the real one. So then they're like, I know just the thief who's up for the task. That's what Zoe says. And I know immediately that that is Kaz Brekker, which we find out in the last sentence. Get a message to the Crow Club. She said, tell Kaz Brekker the Queen of Ravka has a job for him. And then that's the end. Like, what? Okay, by the way, did I say that I rated this book 5 stars? Obviously. Also, I've still been reading Frankenstein. I'm currently up to page 114. It has been crazy so far. So, since I'm on a roll with yapping, I am going to talk about this book now. I originally felt kind of bad for the monster because everybody was terrified of him. He was just wanting to make friends, you know. He was just roaming around. intrigued by the ways of humans, but now he's realized how utterly alone he is because there is no one else like him. Although he did murder Frankenstein's younger brother. So that was not great. And then Justine, the wonderful Justine, got blamed for it and died because everyone thought she did it. Okay, here's the crazy part. I just finished volume 2, so I'm now up to volume 3. But here's the crazy part. The monster has now requested for Victor Frankenstein to create another female version of him on the condition that he and the new female monster will leave and not live close to any humans or disturb any humans. He will just be happy and content as long as he has someone else like himself. And it took a bit of convincing for Victor Frankenstein to finally agree to do it. Now he's gonna create another monster, which I know is not gonna be a good idea. I was like, no, don't do it. Like, maybe this monster shows like some moral conscience at the beginning, but who knows what kind of mind this new monster will have. They could be the evilest person evilest monster ever. But yeah, it is finally time to put this book back onto the Grishaverse section of my shelf. Okay, that is all for today. So I'll see you guys the next time I finish a book. Bye! Hey guys, guess what? It is November something. Wait, let me check. It is the 4th of November and I have finally finished reading Wednesday. But before we get into this, let me show you guys this book that my friend surprised me with. And it is Wednesday's Library. And as soon as I opened it, I just knew that this is the perfect book for me. I love it so much. It's filled with so many quotes. Actually, what it says on the front cover is delightfully dark quotes and gothic tales from one grim girl. So the first thing we see when we open this book is Wednesday's Library, and there's a bunch of gothic fiction. Okay, so there's The Raven poem by Edgar Allan Poe, which I have read before, but it's really nice seeing it in the physical form of a book. So this is kind of what Wednesday's reading list looks like, and the very first one is Frankenstein, which I'm reading right now. There's this beautiful book, but now I'm going to talk about Wednesday. So I actually enjoyed this book a lot more than I expected to, as in I expected to enjoy it to some extent because I have watched the show twice, but I was like, maybe I won't get as excited for like the plot twists and stuff, but I still did. I guess I actually forgot more than I realized, and this was just so enjoyable for me to read. I feel like if you like the show Wednesday and you like reading, then I would highly recommend this book. And in the end, I gave it 5 stars because of just how much I enjoyed it. Just to put it out there, I am a Tyler hater, and I had neutral feelings about Xavier because I feel like he was a good friend. Like, he was always on Wednesday's side, even though he actually got locked up in a cell for a crime he didn't do. But then he ended up forgiving her because Wednesday took an hour for him. Oh yeah, and Wednesday, like, I totally forgot that she actually died and then came back to life because of Goody. Like, that really shocked me. Also, one of my favorite characters in this book would probably be, like, other than Wednesday and Enid, obviously, would probably be Eugene. He is just amazing, and I wish we saw more of Eugene and Wednesday's friendship in season 2 because I feel like it was more so Eugene and Pugsley after Pugsley went to Nevermore. Also, I completely forgot about Laurel Gates as a character. Like, I knew Miss Thornhill was like evil, but I totally forgot about the Gates family. So yeah, that was all for today. So I'll see you guys once I finish reading Frankenstein, which will probably be the last book of October, even though we've kind of gone into November, but it was like the majority of October. So yeah, see you guys. Okay, so last night I finished reading Frankenstein, And wow, this book was incredible. Oh, you want to know what happened? Okay, so basically everybody dies. Yeah, what a happy ending, I know. Okay, here's what really happened. So, you know how Frankenstein was building another female monster for his first monster? Well, he finally realized that, yeah, this is probably a really bad idea because this new monster might just kill everybody. So he ended up destroying his in-progress creation right in front of the other monster where he could see. And so now the current monster is livid. He is out for vengeance. And the monster ends up killing everybody that means importance to Frankenstein. So he's already killed William and Justine, because Justine was blamed for the death of William. And now he's gone ahead and killed Elizabeth, which is Frankenstein's cousin but also his wife. Oh yes, he also killed Henry Clerval, which was Frankenstein's best friend. And then eventually Frankenstein's father also died. So now Frankenstein's like, oh my gosh, I want to die too. But he will not die until he's killed the monster, because otherwise the monster's gonna be like killing other people on the earth. And it was Frankenstein's creation and he will not be able to die peacefully knowing that. So he's out to get the monster, but the monster's always like running away, always escaping him, and eventually Frankenstein dies before he could kill the monster. But before he died, he told his whole story to Walton. And so at the very end, Walton like sees the monster and he was like, oh my gosh, this is Frankenstein's creation. I can't even look it in the face because of how horrendous it looks. And then the monster ends up committing suicide because he feels so bad about everything he did. Because at first, he was a pretty happy and content monster, just like excited to be living on this earth and seeing the beautiful nature surrounding him. But then when he realizes how everybody is afraid of him and hates him and wants to kill him, then obviously he doesn't feel so good. Towards the end, I was really curious as to what will happen to the monster, because I'm like, who's gonna kill the monster? Not thinking that the monster would actually kill itself. So I guess that kind of solves things. But overall, I gave this book 5 stars because it was just so enjoyable to read. I loved it, and I cannot believe that Mary Shelley wrote this when she was 18. That is actually insane for me to think about. Anyways, that basically sums up this whole reading month. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys read this month. And if you made it this far into the video, comment a bat emoji. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.